there. So welcome to Suitcase Divas podcast. This is episode 45. My name is Denise Diabaldi with Redbirds Travel.
And I'm Cheryl Garcia with ABCD Adventures.
Yeah, and so today we are going to talk about in-person fairs, also known as penny fairs. And we have the lovely Katie O'Day. Hey, Katie. Katie's
Hi.
our bestie, a fellow travel agent, and she has a lot of experience with penny fairs, and she's booked them several times, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about her experience with how she's used them, what kind of deals she's gotten. So let's talk a little bit more about what are in-person rates, Cheryl.
So this is a good question because we've kind of been learning about this mostly from Katie O. And on our trainings and stuff, she talks about it. But in-person rates, or sometimes also known as penny fares, are when there are flights that you can purchase at the counter at the airport. So you would go to the airport, go up to the airline, and then you would purchase your flight right there. They're usually only available on budget airlines like Frontier or Spirit. And the discount is usually because as a result of waiving the online fees. Larger airlines do not charge online booking fees. So you are getting that discount just from the budget airlines, and not the main ones like American. You're not really getting that much of a discount from what I found. I'm sure Katie's going to give us a little bit of insight when we get to it. Sometimes in-person rates are called penny fares. And this is because at one time, some airlines did offer a deal. I was doing some research and I thought this was very interesting. All the way back to 2020, I think was the last time I could find information where they offered this. But they offered a deal where you could buy a ticket for 1 cent and then all you had to pay were taxes and their fees. So you could get a super discounted rate. And that's where I found, that's as far back as I could go, or where I got the info about where penny fares kind of started that particular name. I think if you go up to the desk, when we did it, we went up and asked for the in-person rate and asked questions about that. You can book these in advance. So like if you're going up there, it's not one you have to fly that day. You can actually go up there, book a flight for a few months out. It also does depend on how far their system goes. So when Denise and I went up there to experience this and kind of get some information and research on it, we both had flights in mind that we had researched online. I could book a specific flight online for March of 2025, but they could not give me the in-person rate
I thought that
at
was
the counter. Yeah, while we were there, they said that was too far out. So even though it was available online, I wasn't able to get an in-person rate at the counter. So that's something to know too. Just because it's available online doesn't mean you'll be able to get the discount, but don't give up because
I think every experience is going to be different, right?
Right. And another good thing about these is you can purchase the flight. Say you're like our closest airport, we have two, but we would go to Charlotte Douglas, and say I need to fly out of somewhere else. You don't have to book your flight to fly out of the airport that you're purchasing it from. So you can book a flight for somewhere else. Let's see. So that's pretty much what is that a good description of what in-person rates and penny fares would be, do you think, Katie?
Yes.
Okay,
That's
awesome.
basically all of it.
Yeah. So let's talk about how we get them. So how did we go about doing our research, Denise, and going down there? And we didn't do everything right. I'll tell you that. This is why we reached out to KDO, because when we did this experience and went down there to do research, we did not get the results we thought we would get.
It is interesting. So, I mean, but at least we did the research and we're letting you know what we found out, guys. So we did our research. You can't just stroll up there and be like, give me a cheap ticket. Like you have to do your research and have the dates that you want. You have to have the flight numbers that you want, the time you want to leave. You have to go in there with the knowledge of these are the in-person rates that I want. So you have to kind of
have something to compare to know that you're getting a deal.
Right, exactly. So hopefully you research this online to see what you have the offer online, and then you go there and you see what kind of discount that you can get. Now, so we went to Charlotte. Our local one that we went to was Charlotte Douglas International here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So they do recommend that you go on a specific day. So KDO, as an agent, surely you know what day this is. Tuesday, right. So for the reason behind that, from my understanding is, business people are typically leaving out on Monday. If you're doing a recreational vacation, you usually leave Thursday or Friday to get a little extra time. So Tuesdays is really kind of the slower day, but that's not the only day that you can get penny fares, correct?
Correct.
So you said Monday through Friday, 9 to 5?
Yeah, with my experience with Spirit, especially because that is that is our main airline here in Myrtle Beach Airport. It's been 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can do the fare, the cheaper fare. The in-person rate is what they call it.
Right.
But you not going to the regular counter, but going to the counter closer to like baggage claim. They have like separate counters.
So we did not do that, Cheryl. We went directly to Spirit.
Well, we can't get to baggage. I mean, yeah, we can. There's no counters down in baggage at Charlotte.
Oh, here there are. There's
Okay.
there's like an informational counter
Mm-hmm.
and then their sales counter or their check-in counter. So,
Okay.
or you go to the information desk is what they'll tell you which one to go to.
So maybe this is something else that we do need to check on, because we went to the Spirit counter and I cannot think of seeing one in departures. I mean, in arrivals by baggage.
There is. And the lady we got, she outright said, I'm brand new. Like, so maybe we were barking up the wrong tree, because I will tell you my experience. I told her my dates. I told her my flights. I had already researched from Charlotte to Chicago, O'Hare. And the rate that I found online was 206.47. The rate I was quoted at my in-person rates was actually 234. So it's higher than online rates, which is wild. It doesn't really make any sense, but I guess every situation is specific. But Katie, can you tell us a little bit about your experience? Because you have had some really good experiences with discounts. Can you kind of tell us like what your experience has been and what kind of type of discounts you've gotten? Oh, I do want to say cheers. Thank you for my birthday mug. Everybody cheers. Thank you, Julie
Cheers.
Shaw.
Thank you, Julie Shaw.
So yeah, Katie, what has been your experience? Because you definitely have said you've gotten discounts in the past.
Right. Sometimes Spirit has like those $9 fares, or now I think they're like $19 fares. When I see those, I definitely would go to the airport and get those, get the fares, because I've paid as little as, $43 total for 2 people round trip.
That's crazy.
From here to New York. And I know Spirit isn't always that expensive, but I think it was $43.95 from here to Boston. And then I paid like maybe a dollar less than that from here to New York, from Myrtle Beach to New York.
That's crazy.
When I first went, I didn't have all the information. I was like, I need whatever flight you got available tomorrow, leaving out, because I wanted to go the next day for both of these.
Okay.
Those 2 that I'm telling you about. And they were able to help me. And I did get the cheaper fares because there was no online fees and all that fun stuff. But I bring them a little candy bar, and I try to be as sweet as I can, because I want them to help me. And I'm not trying to, kiss their ass, but I want, I want them to know that I appreciate them.
That is nice.
That I'm here because I'd rather, if they get some kind of commission off of it, I don't know. I've never asked that, if they're selling the tickets, if they make any kind of fee off that or not. But I was just, I bring them a little Snickers bar or something cute to thank them. And when I first went, that's why I didn't have all the information. I was like, I'm just gonna see what happens. But since then, I've gone with all the information, like you said, like the times, the days, the flight number, and all that fun stuff. And I've researched it beforehand, what the online prices were versus, what I'm going to get while I'm there, to make sure I'm getting that deal. Because sometimes you're not going to get, like you just said, it was actually more expensive. So, and I usually print it out so I have it in writing, or I'll have it on my phone. So that way I can see and I can show them. I'm like, well, here you go.
So I wonder if in that circumstance, if I had it pulled up on my phone and it was actually cheaper online,
If they could have
did
matched it.
yeah, I don't know,
Right.
price matching perhaps.
And I do want to
You don't
say
know.
to our listeners that when we talk about the online price, that is directly through Spirit. We did not, this is comparing apples to apples, Spirit online versus Spirit in person. You're not
Right.
going to get the same results if you try to do this with an Expedia ticket or anything like that. So just
Right.
make sure when
Right.
you're doing this, we should have clarified, you're comparing apples to apples. The airline's main website is where you're getting your information from, and that's what you're
Correct.
taking to the counter at the airport.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So,
But
is
the
there
answer is always going to be no until you try. So
true?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, on average, Katie, when you didn't have the $19 flights or whatnot, what would you say is the average discount that, because mine was like almost $30 more, but you've said you on average, like, and I've heard this from Marnie Hernandez as well. She said like between $50 and $100 discount. And that's pretty freaking fabulous.
yeah, that's pretty conservative. Like that I would stay in that range. I mean, it's your Uber there. It's your cocktails before getting on flight. I mean, it's you're saving that money. So
It's your luggage if you want to
it's your
check your bag.
luggage.
If
Yes.
you pack like I do, then that's for sure your luggage because I'm checking a bag. I struggle with that. I'm trying to get better though. I'm goals.
So,
So-
Kate,
I've often shipped stuff to wherever I'm going first, so I don't have to.
oh, do you?
Yeah, use the book rate and ship it.
Oh, okay.
Things that, like, if I'm going to family, I'm like, let me just ship this stuff to your house so I don't have to lug it back and forth. And if it's stuff that I'm going to use while I'm there and I'm not going to take it back, like gifts and stuff, like, because then on the way home, my bag's not going to be that heavy,
Right.
That's
a
my
good
thought.
idea for people that are going up for like Christmas and stuff like that. Potentially shipping
Right.
Like
your
some type of
presents.
what if you're going for a celebration, like a wedding
baby
or
shower,
a christening
birthday,
or
something like that.
yeah, that's really smart. We love travel tips, so that was
That's
a
right.
really good
Yeah,
one.
put a change of clothes in there just in case as your
Mhm.
filler. Yeah.
Yes, the go bag. We do know the ways of the go
Of
bag.
tucking things, yeah, find absolutely. So Katie, have you found that you're getting similar? Are you really just going through Spirit, or have you checked the other ones? Or I know you said Spirit is the main one there at your airport, but have you gone with any of the other budget airlines like Frontier or anything like that, or checked those out?
I have checked those out and the discount is not as much. It might be $20, $30,
Okay.
but still there is an in-person rate.
Have you found there, I know we say Tuesday is the best day, not only to purchase tickets, but to fly as well, but have you found there are better times and days to go? Because I know we happened to go on a Sunday because we were already at the airport.
Sunday
So
was busy. The lines were long.
we couldn't even get to Frontier because the lines were so long. So we know not to go. My recommendation is don't go on a Sunday because it
Don't
was
go on a
pretty
Sunday
busy.
like we did. But we were
But-
dropping friends off at the airport, so that's the day we happened.
Yeah, we were trying to
check that.
multitask. So do you recommend,
Right.
I know you said Spirit is Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 at yours. Did you find that there were less busier times where you could really spend some time at the desk going over the options?
I kind of like to look at what their departures are for the day and look for a window of time in between, like where they're not so busy. Like they're not checking all these people. Like there's people that go there like 2 hours before or
Right.
whatever the time frame is. I try to look for a window where they're not so busy and they're not
Sure.
so many flights going out. I mean, there's no specific day. It's just, and if it's raining, hell yeah, go. Because are they taking off on time? No. Like
Yeah.
are they? Yeah. Like today, like with the storm that we have, there's probably a bunch of delays, bunch of cancellations. They're not going to be as busy. Hit it up.
Okay. That's good to know. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that. I'll have to check with my husband.
So we should go
and find
tomorrow,
his-
Cheryl, because the storm's coming here tomorrow.
Right. Well, and I'll ask Daniel, I was like, when's the break? So I know when we could be at the airport, because he'll be able to say, this is when we have a good, I forgot what they call it, the push. That's what I think they call it, but we'll go in between the pushes. That's a good point, because I was really surprised on a Sunday. I don't know what I was thinking, but they were very, and I will say Charlotte's under construction. So it was
And
a hot
Charlotte
mess.
is fucking busy all the time. I've never been to Charlotte when it was not busy, to be honest with you. I mean, it's always busy in Charlotte.
I've been
Yeah.
early in the morning and late at night. And it's been, but then there's nobody at the desk. If you
Right.
go too early or too
Correct.
late, there's nobody there to help you. So
Right.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well,
Or you just, if there's a long line, wait for someone to take a break at the counter and watch where they go and hit them up in the lobby. Be like, hey, let me ask you a question.
They were very friendly. That was the one thing I was surprised because I never
they were
know
friendly.
they are under so much. I feel so much empathy for all
That's why you
the
bring them a Snickers, Cheryl.
I know. I
we
actually
didn't know.
I've been
Katie just
taking
gave us
notes
the
of what
bomb
Katie
diggity.
said.
The bomb diggity inside
Yeah.
scoop is bring a Snickers because when you're hangry, a Snickers satisfies
Yep.
you.
I know when I travel, especially on holidays and when I'm traveling with groups, the last one I did with the group was my Girl Scout troop. We were traveling over Easter. I made little Easter baggies for all the flight attendants and gave them out going and coming. Just because it's a holiday. It's going to be busy. It's spring break. People
Yeah.
don't have the patience. So I do try to do things like that because one, we all work in service as well, and we know how people can be. And
Correct.
it's just people aren't nice all the time. So
That is a
giving
fact.
them a little treat is a really good idea. And I never would have thought to do it at the counter. And they're forgotten. So we should absolutely do that from now on.
That is for sure a takeaway.
Yeah,
of
even
this
when I'm
episode.
checking in, like they're not, I bring them a little present, be like, hey, here, this is for later.
You know, and
Enjoy.
this could come in really handy when my bag is really like typically 2 pounds over the limit. So they just fucking throw me a bone and be like, no, bitch, you have to wear that sweater on the plane because you're over your limit. So I think that's a fabulous idea, Katie. So yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else, any final thoughts or anything you guys think about the penny saver? I would try it again. I didn't have much luck this time, but I wouldn't give up. And
Right.
and the other thing is you guys know I'm kind of candy ass, a little bougie. I've never flown Spirit, but I'm not saying I never would. But if you want to get these deals, you got to fly, the budget airlines. So
Right.
you guys both.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you guys both have flown Spirit, correct?
I have not flown Spirit.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Okay. And would you say that Spirit is you've had a good experience with Spirit, Katie?
Honestly, I mean, I've never had a bad experience.
All right, let me knock on wood for you, honey.
I know, knock on wood. I'm knocking on it right now too. But no, I mean, because it's the main from New York to Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Especially like in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was the only thing that was coming this way.
And New York is your hometown, correct? Like you're going back to see family and stuff?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and Denise and I have talked about this before because we have talked about taking Spirit or going on a trip on some of the budget airlines because we do follow like on the social media trends of people talking about the issues they're facing and we want to keep up on that. One of the things we acknowledge is there's so much information out there that you should know what to expect from these airlines. So you should
Correct.
know what they are picky about, what they can be picky about, whether they're going to nitpick down to the period of their sentence. So you know that. And you need to come into that with the mindset of, okay, I am going on a budget airline. I am saving money. This is the way they do things. It's well known. If you are on TikTok, you are following anything Spirit or Frontier, although Frontier's not getting as much flack as Spirit usually does, it's the same complaints that you get. So you should be able to prepare. That's what we talk about, is trying to prepare for all the complaints we hear. People should prepare. You got to take some accountability.
Aren't you so proud of me? I did go on Allegiant, and that's a budget airline out of Concord. So
I love Allegiant. So
I love Allegiant too.
Yeah. We did just get a new airline. We're gonna go check them out.
Avelo,
AVELO or AEVLO. I have to go back and look.
Avelo.
You know, I can't spell anyway, so I have all the letters, but they might not be in the right order.
I think we've got one too. It's called Breezy or something. We've got a new one.
Breezy. What a
Breezy.
fucking fabulous name for an airline.
Yeah.
So
Right?
seriously. I mean, unless you're breezy because your fucking door opened accidentally. You might actually want to rethink that airline name.
Right. No, but the seats look comfortable. I mean, I've not known anyone to fly it yet, but
Yeah, and Allegiant, I'll have to say, Cheryl and I were saying, because we flew Allegiant down to Orlando when we went to regionals, and I was like, I feel like the seats are actually bigger than American Airline because that's what I usually fly, and they have a really good point system. If you get their card, their Allegiant card, you get free cocktails and stuff for the flight. You get free checked bags. Like there was really good benefits.
It did sound like one of the
have
better
the loyalty card.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about getting that, by the way. So I mean, I think that pretty much wraps up our experience with in-person flights. What do y'all think? You have any closing remarks? Do you want to add in there?
I want to say if any of our listeners have actually had experience with these in-person or penny fare, especially if anyone was able to get those penny fare rates, the last article I saw
back in the day
was 2020. I can't remember if it was Spirit or Frontier, but those seem to be the two that were actually offering a flight ticket for a penny, and then you just paid fares and it ended up being like $11 or $12.
I promise you, I'm going to reach out. Marnie Hernandez, I was going to reach out to her, but I think she's under the weather. She was making some garlic soup. So I was going to actually invite her on here, but she's not feeling well. But I'd love to pick Marnie's brain because she's been doing it for years, like decades. Yeah. And she is the penny fare queen. So I'll let you know if I talk to her, if she's got any feedback. We'll put it in the notes. But
Katie, you keep us in the loop of your deals that you get, because you're the one that kind of introduced it. Marnie's talked about it, but for Denise, but for me, you were the one that introduced it to me, and we've definitely want to take advantage of this because I'd be interested. Let me ask you this: would you guys go to the counters for your clients to try to get them a better deal? Because just listeners, if you don't know this, as travel agents, we do not get commission on booking flights.
We do not get commission on Airfare.
Unless you're booking it in a package or with other things, that's why travel agents typically charge a fee to book your flight. Would it be, that's just something I'd be curious to know. I was thinking about this when I was doing the research. Like, would it be worth it to go down there for a client? I'd have to do like several clients. I wouldn't go down there for
take
one.
The card number. Like, how would you pay?
So I actually saw this on one of our TA website chats or whatever. They were actually doing it. They would call
over
the person phone? And did it over the phone.
That's right. There you go.
So the difference would be like whatever you could save them could be your additional commission.
Yeah.
Like that could be your commission. Like if I could have gotten that flight for 206 instead of the 234, even just that little $30 is a commission. But if sometimes you're getting a $50 discount or $100 discount, that might be worth going for your clients. I think that's a great idea.
Well, yeah, but
oh, go ahead. Sorry, Katie.
The airport for me is like a 45-minute drive there.
Yeah.
For
like
us, yeah. For
if
us,
I'm going that way because Costco's right there, then like
I love Costco. Actually, thank you for the lead-in because this is fucking amazing because this is their Prosecco, the Kirkland. Okay, hold on. There we go. Y'all, if you have not tried Kirkland's, the Costco brand Prosecco, then I'm telling you what, you are missing out because it's like $7.79 per bottle. And it is amazing Prosecco. So I want to give a little shout out to the Costco Kirkland's Prosecco. Cheers.
I like their organic sulfite-free white wine. I can't remember what it is, but it's really good. And it's only like $6 a bottle for organic sulfite-free
now,
wine.
Let me ask you this. This is kind of off the topic. And if you guys have time, I do have one off the topic thing I was going to ask you guys because it's kind of like it's something that you probably don't really talk about, but Cheryl and I were talking about. So I think this is a really good, let's end it with this. So guys, when you have your phone and it doesn't matter where you are, but when you set your phone down, do you set it right side up where the screen is up, or do you set it down where the screen is down? Katie,
It
what do you
depends on
do?
the situation.
Ooh, it
Depends on who I'm
the
around.
situation. Okay, well,
Like
tell
if
us. I would love to hear.
if I'm waiting for a call or a text or something like that, then I'll face it up. But if I want to submerge myself in the in-person experience, I put it down. I flip it down. I don't bother me, or I put it away entirely. But it's flipped down if I don't want to be bothered. It's flipped up if I know I'm waiting for something.
Okay. All right, Cheryl, what about you, hon?
So yeah, we started talking about this because recently, like what was it, 2 day and a half ago? I don't even remember. This week's been so wild. My husband's phone got cracked because something fell on the screen. And we were talking
Oh.
about it. I always put my phone face down because I don't want something to spill on it. I don't want something to fall on my screen. I've got like a protector on my phone. So if anything falls, my phone's protected. That's the only reason that actually, that's not the only reason, because sometimes I'll just put it over. My phone's always on silent. So I only pick it up if I know I'm gonna check it. I try to be, like you said, Katie, in the moment of where I'm at. I don't usually have it
Right.
up, but I don't want things falling on my screen. If my husband's phone had been flipped over and his screen was down, his phone would not have shattered. So
And he's an old school phone guy that has the home button. So he was
he has an
devastated
iPhone
because
8
now there's
Plus.
no going back. There's no
We got it
going
fixed.
back.
They
Oh, good.
My
actually
husband has the 8 phone, the 8 also.
They will. What is it? They won't. He was heartbroken. So I called around. Nick, Denise's husband, was giving me places to call. I called around. I finally got someone to fix it. Cost us like $65. I don't even think.
Yes. It's
And
That's
expensive.
actually fabulous. Better than buying a new damn phone if he doesn't want it.
well,
So,
that's what because he actually looked for an iPhone 8 Plus on eBay and all that, and he's like, I already have to pay a connection fee. I would have, or if I buy a new phone, either way, you're still paying the act. He went through all the numbers. He says the cheapest one we found was like $65 after taxes, and they did it within 30 minutes. They had his phone fixed.
that's awesome.
So we talked about that. But and when I mentioned it to Denise, this is something else we both have heard. I see it on TikTok often. They'll have like a couple sitting at a table at a booth or something, and they'll take their camera and zoom in, and the boyfriend's phone's upside down, and the sound will be signs he's cheating or whatever. And we were both like, why would that be signs of cheating? Because you're being either
because
respectful.
Notifications
I always,
pop up.
I
well,
would never have thought of that.
I wouldn't have thought of that either. And I also exclusively keep my screen down. For the reasons of Cheryl said, it's more protected that way. And guys, as an agent, you all know
Our
I
phones
have
are
mine on
always going
They
off.
must think my husband must think I really got some shit going on because I have mine silenced. I always have it down. But the reason being is protection. And we have so many threads going with our agents, and there's a lot of fucking saucy shit in there that I would not want just somebody walking by my children, my husband, anybody really to see the shit that goes on in our conversations. It's just like, I just want my privacy. And some of it's fucking embarrassing that I didn't ask for that to be on there. And our agent friends are buck wild. So we won't mention any names. Cheers, Julie. But but I'm just saying there's a lot of wild conversations that go on. And when I had my phone on not silent, it's like ding, ding, ding. And Nick's like, shut that up. Like, cause I've got 5 different threads. I'm talking to different people, and my college friends, I have a thread for that. My travel agent people, I have like 5 threads for that. And then, it just keeps on going. So for me, having my phone down is kind of like I'm giving you my attention, and when I want to pick it up and deal with whatever 45 messages I've missed from my agent friends, then I'll get to that when I get to that. But to me, it was never a sign of, oh,
She's
you're trying to
hiding
hide
something.
something.
I didn't think that
That was
either.
an interesting concept to me.
Right.
So it's interesting to know
that none of us thought of that when we were talking about it. Like it was. So I think we should put a poll out on our social.
we're
Phone
gonna
down.
put a
what does
poll
it
out,
mean?
guys.
Okay, we'll put.
And
Well, I also have
know.
I have the screen protector on, that glass protector. So
My
if
husband
something
did
drops
too,
on it,
and it's
yeah.
still shattered. But to be honest, it was a glass salt shaker that hit the corner of it just right. But that's all it takes. Like the phone, and his phone's an iPhone 8, so it's not even the newer glass protect. You know how their phones are getting better and better. He had the glass protector on it.
And I've dropped mine on the cement before. I mean, it's easy. You can still shatter a screen if it hits the right way, even though
that's what it
you
was.
have a
Yeah.
screen protector on.
But I love that none of us thought of anything shady when we're all like,
we're not shady. We're fabulous.
Exactly.
But so
guys, time to hide.
We're absolutely going to put out a poll and see whether you are a phone up, phone down, or it depends on the situation. We'd love to hear your feedback. So, all right, guys. Well,
hey, can I circle back to this the in-person rates?
Please.
I'm not an assertive person, even though I just asserted myself right there.
That was so
I'm not
good,
an assertive.
Katie. I love it.
I kind of want to make sure that everybody feels like they're being heard and they're understood. And when I go to the counter, I'm not assertive about it. So if people are scared to be like, oh, they're going to turn me down. Like I said before, the answer is always no until you ask.
Correct.
So you just be like, hey, help me out. I heard this story about, people that come here and get the cheaper fares. What can you tell me about it? So then, I mean, it's just, don't be shy. It's just say, hey, I don't know about it. Just help me out.
Right,
absolutely.
That's a good point.
And then whatever discount you get from that plane ticket, then that's your free money to do whatever you want, right?
Right.
I would be absolutely getting the mimosa on the plane.
I'd be paying for my luggage.
I do that too. I'm gonna get both.
Hopefully it's enough for both.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Katie, for joining us today.
We love you, Katie.
Lovely being here with you ladies.
Yeah.
Hi, guys, and we love you too. So Suitcase Divas are signing out for the day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.